Good evening, welcome to the Buck Stops here. I'm Vishnu Shom. We'll be bringing you the very latest on the Modi Roadshow in China. Today was the business end of his trip to China. Lots of important deals, lots of important meetings with CEOs. We'll be coming to that later on the show. But our big story this evening, an open war between the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. First, Arvind rejects a stand-in Chief Secretary. The LG says that's not for Arvind to decide. Then Arvind Kejriwal sacks a senior bureaucrat, and the LG says the Chief Minister's instruction is void and issues a press release. All of this is being played out in the open through leaked letters that show a complete breakdown between Arvind Kejriwal and Najeeb Jung. On the show this evening, are bureaucrats in a sense collateral damage in an open war between the Delhi Chief Minister and the Delhi Lieutenant Governor, and how is this undermining the civil service? And as I mentioned later on the program, as the Prime Minister meets top business CEOs, my colleague Nidhi Razdan joins us for a special discussion on the economic road ahead for India and China. That special segment coming up from Shanghai. But first, our top story, the open war between the Delhi Lieutenant Governor and the Chief Minister. Can there be governance in a situation like this?
बीजेपी ने एलजी साहब के जरिए दिल्ली की चुनी हुई सरकार का तख्ता पलट करने की कोशिश की है। एक ऐतिहासिक बहुमत लेकर आई हुई सरकार का तख्ता पलट करने की कोशिश करी है इन लोगों ने कल। पहली बार ऐसा हो रहा है कि एलजी सीधे निर्देश दे रहे हैं अधिकारियों को। सीएम को किनारे कर दिया गया, कैबिनेट को किनारे कर दिया गया। किसी अफसर को बताने का अधिकार नहीं है उनके पास में, लेकिन इन सारे रूल्स को संविधान की धज्जियां उड़ाते हुए, कानूनों की धज्जियां उड़ाते हुए, रूल्स की धज्जियां उड़ाते हुए।
The gloves are off as the war of words between Delhi's Aam Aadmi Party government and the Lieutenant Governor escalates a day after the appointment of this officer as Delhi's acting Chief Secretary for 10 days. Calling the Lieutenant Governor's appointment unconstitutional and unauthorized, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's office issued an advisory asking Shakuntala Gamlin not to take charge as acting Chief Secretary. But the senior bureaucrat has taken charge, defying the order.
Sources close to Shakuntala Gamlin, the senior bureaucrat, say that she has taken over her role as the Chief Secretary from today, since LG is the appointing authority of her cadre and she is merely following orders. Sources also say that she has denied all allegations of favouring power companies, a reason that has been given by the Delhi government for opposing her appointment.
The Lieutenant Governor has strongly defended his decision, saying Gamlin's appointment is in accord with rules, even saying there was nothing on record to suggest the government had any objection to her name. This is not the first time the Delhi government and the Lieutenant Governor have clashed. Even before his re-election, earlier this year, Arvind Kejriwal had accused the Lieutenant Governor of being partisan. But the unsavoury controversy over a temporary appointment has given the opposition fresh ammunition to target the government.
जिस तरह से ये 100 रोज में सरकार चली है, उससे ये शंका होती है कि अटेंशन डाइवर्ट करना चाहते हैं।
Mr. Kejriwal and his colleagues need to understand that there is after all a constitutional mandate that is there by which a government runs. They cannot seek to run the country or their state as they wish.
The Delhi government has now written to the Lieutenant Governor asking for Shakuntala Gamlin to be removed as the Principal Secretary of Power, a post she held even before this controversy first erupted. And now what should have been a temporary appointment has turned out into an ugly political slugfest. In New Delhi with Tonima Biswas, Kate Kiangre for NDTV.
Well, what we're looking at this evening is whether bureaucrats are in a sense collateral damage in this war between Arvind Kejriwal and the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. Joining us to debate this, Nalin Kohli, spokesperson of the BJP, Ashish Khaitan of the Aam Aadmi Party, Kamal Mitra Chenoy joins us as well, TSR Subramaniam, the former Cabinet Secretary of India, and from the Congress Party, Onika Mehrotra. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. You know, there are two aspects of this. There is the legal position and the constitutional position, and there is also the political arguments which are taking place. Let's deal with the politics first. Nalin, let me come to you first. The Aam Aadmi Party has said, Manish Sisodia, the BJP is trying to engineer a coup against the government. The implication is that your agent of this coup is the LG. How do you respond?
We don't have any political answer for conspiracy theories. There has to be some substance before you arrive at it. Now, if tomorrow the Aam Aadmi Party believes that someone wants to go out and, pick them out of one place and transport them in another. It's a conspiracy theory. So let's move beyond that. The fact of the matter is they have a historic mandate, 67 seats. The BJP has 3. So why would we want to dislodge a government which has almost a total majority of this? They are there to do their work. If they do it within the constitutional framework, why would there be any discrimination or any extra attention to them? They will get what they are due. The point is they are not exercising themselves on governance. They are looking at controversies and believing themselves to be victimized when no victimization is taking place.
How is this some sort of, okay. Before I ask you, let me just point out to the letter that Arvind Kejriwal actually wrote to the LG. Firstly, the language of the letter, I am simply aghast by your questionable instructions that indicates that there is no equation per se between these two men. And then he goes on to say, I cannot but conclude that this is a thinly disguised attempt to render the democratically elected government ineffective and administer the National Capital Territory of Delhi directly. Is this not a gross exaggeration? Can this actually be the case?
Let us look at the facts and then let the viewers decide whether this is an accurate presentation of the scene in Delhi, or is it a gross, as you called it a gross simplification. Now, first of all, an elected chief minister should have all the powers, and the elected chief minister of Delhi has all the powers to appoint his officers, to make a team of his own, and to run the administration within the constitutional framework. Now, unfortunately, that power of the chief minister is being interfered with by the office of LG. All that we are saying is that, look, please allow us to run the administration, please allow us to have a team of our own. Look what the office of LG is doing. They are saying that, look, we won't even allow you to decide your acting CS, which is chief secretary. We won't even allow you to have your secretary services. We won't even allow you to rotate officers. And bypassing the office of the chief minister, the office of LG is directly issuing orders, is in direct communication with the officers, with the bureaucracy, and trying to
what you may say, what you are saying
the CS
may be correct, but what is the legal and the constitutional position? That is a debate. Delhi is not like other states. It may be your primary demand that Delhi should be a state, and therefore these issues may not arise. But in the framework of rules right now, the LG is the boss of Delhi. That's something which you have to accept.
Now, within the existing framework, I am saying, within the existing constitutional framework, the Chief Minister of Delhi has the powers, has the privilege to pick his officers, to make his team, and for that he doesn't need
Nalin has a point. He disagrees with you from a legal standpoint. Nalin, come in.
Or the office of the Chief Minister.
Okay, legally that is questionable from a constitutional interpretation.
Two bureaucrats in the Delhi administration.
Let me give a counter.
This is an unprecedented constitutional crisis created by the office of LG.
Okay, one moment. Let me go ahead.
I would like to now come back to this argument on two fronts. Let's first understand what are we talking. We are talking about the union territories. Article 239AA and 4, subsection 4 is the main one where all the issue comes, is part of the Constitution of India. Additional to the Constitution of India that deals with Delhi, you have the Government of Delhi Act, GNCT Act. Then you have the rules. Now, in a constitutional framework, if there is a problem between the rules and the act will take precedence. And if there's any problem between the rules and the act and the constitution will take precedence. Now, in Delhi, because it's a union territory, union territories are administered by an administrator. In Delhi, the administrator is called the Lieutenant Governor. That does not make him like the governor of another state. That's the basic fundamental issue. If you read the language of 4, it clearly says there shall be a council of ministers consisting of not more than 10%, etc., and to aid and advise the Lieutenant Governor in matters. It's clear, there is no doubt. Now, if Mr. Khaitan and his chief minister and others have a problem, approach a constitutional expert. Don't approach political parties. Don't approach TV. Go take a formal opinion. You are entitled to take it. Now, let's go to the facts also, which are disputed. There were 4 names that were being suggested to come as acting chief secretary. The first one said, I'm not interested. The second one, they said we don't want to take him for reasons as you will understand, basically alleging something against him. No, one minute, just let me finish it, because he said it's a constitutional crisis and consultation. The third person there, they had themselves moved him out of an important port. Then it came down to Shakuntala Gamblin and another name that Mr. Sisodia in his hand has introduced. So there are two names, we are acceptable to both. The LG sends the file back, you sit on it, you need a chief secretary. 36 hours later, they don't take a decision. Yes. He takes one of the two. So, is there no consultation? And what do they do? Okay. Last point. Last point. They intimidate the officer. I mean, that's violation of even the basic IPC 506. A lady from the northeast, and you are intimidating her.
I just want to, before getting into the officer's concern, just look at 239 AA4. Right? It's a proviso to Article 239 AA4 of the Constitution. This is what Kejriwal has quoted in his letter to the Lieutenant Governor. Now, even if you go by what this says, it basically says, provided that in the case of differences of opinion between the LG and the ministers on any matter, the LG shall refer it to the President, etc., etc. Now, it also says, and most significantly, in the LG, in any case where the matter in his opinion is so urgent that it is necessary for him to take immediate action, to take such action or to give such direction in the manner as he deems necessary. Bottom line over here is that it's a two-step process. Either it goes to the President through the Home Ministry, or the LG can say, these are my reasons and my decision stands, until the President perhaps looks at it later on. Where in this case can Arvind Kejriwal say that he is the person who should be deciding? It could be a moral position, it could be a political position, it's not a legal position.
I think what Arvindji is doing is trying to say that there should be consultation because he is the CM and that's the government's line. And about the delay in answering, there are many ways to contact people confidentially, encrypted emails, handed over letter. So I don't think that should be taken too seriously. But the point which I think Nalin is also making is Delhi is not a state.
No.
And therefore Delhi's chief minister does not have the powers that a chief minister has in a state. And I think that is where the rub is. That you have a party which has a phenomenal majority but does not have the powers it wishes it has because of the constitution it is inherited. And then everything follows. The only, I mean, I understand it's a political argument, it's a constitutional argument. Only thing I wish was not done was that public accusations were made against people from the civil service.
Yes.
Before they were allowed to put forward their viewpoint to whichever grievance redressal mechanism there is. Because this means
like
you are.
I'm coming to you, Ashish, in one moment.
So, because this does not help the situation. Okay. Of course, the CM had the right to, in a private conversation, say, I don't want so and so for such and such reason.
Yes.
But once it comes into the public domain, then that I think is unfortunate.